Yo, yo, yo. This week on the X-Factor Sportz Podcast, Season 9 premiere, Episode 97, we get into Major League Baseball. We find out how wrong I was with my preseason predictions. We talk about college football this weekend, the two games that you need to watch, and we get into the top 5 Super Bowl contenders in the NFL this season. Keep it locked right here. The X-Factor Sportz Podcast Season 9 starts right now. Yo, yo. Welcome to the X-Factor Sportz Podcast. This is your boy Jay Mondane. We are in Season 9. This is the premiere tonight. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Episode 97 on YouTube. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and follow on YouTube. Also, you can listen on any platform that allows you to listen to podcasts. Like I said, 97 episodes strong. So let's keep it going. We got a great episode for you tonight, so I'm not going to hold you. Let's get it going with the quick news. And we're going to start with the NFL contracts, of course. So a couple players got signed on Monday, which I kind of figured they would. You want to make sure you get these guys signed so they have about 10, 12 days to ramp up so they get ready for week 1. So Terry McLaurin with the Washington Commanders got his deal signed. 3 years, $96 million extension, 29-year-old number 1 receiver. I don't think anybody is happier than Jaden Daniels that he got his number 1 guy back. And you pair him with Debo, I think Washington's going to try to capitalize and build on what they did last year. Get into an NFC championship game with a rookie quarterback. They feel like the sky's the limit. And you need a guy like Scary Terry outside to solidify that offense. So congrats on him. Had a great summer, got married, got his extension. He stays in Washington, so I'm happy for that. And the funny thing is they actually play Cincinnati week 1, I believe, and they had their own contract issues with Trey Hendrickson, but it looks like they figured it out too. With Trey Hendrickson, I actually think this is a win-win for both sides. One, Trey Hendrickson's 30 years old. He'll be 31 this season. Last year of his contract, he balled out last year, so he felt like he deserved more money. And Cincinnati obliged, for lack of a better term, and they basically just gave him a raise. So instead of playing for $14 million the last year of his contract, they gave him a $16 million raise, and now he's making $30 million on his last year. But the reason I say both sides win is because Trey Hendrickson gets the ball out. He plays for the money he wanted to play for. And then he's an unrestricted free agent and can go into the market. And based on his last 2 years of production, he can see what his value is. Maybe Cincinnati can re-sign him for more or less. He can go out and check his value, or another team can pick him up. So congrats to him. Got his pay raise, and he's got one more season to prove it. But then on the flip side, Cincinnati, which historically has not been known as the smartest franchises when it comes to contracts, right? I think this is actually a good move by them. Again, Trey Hendrickson will be 31, going on 32 next season. He's unrestricted, so they don't have to re-sign him. You give him a bonus, but you don't extend him, and you don't pay him a large amount of money that hurts your salary cap. So it's actually good on both sides. You don't see too many deals where it's team friendly and player friendly. And I think this worked out actually. So congrats to Trey Hendrickson, got his raise. He can go ball out and do his thing. And then next year, the sky's the limit for him. And then Cincinnati is not handcuffed by a contract by an older player. So I think it worked out for both sides. Now, that leads me to what's happening with Micah Parsons. And with Micah Parsons, we have a situation that's almost like Chris Jones a couple years with the Chiefs. A lot going on in the media with Jerry Jones. He's doing interviews. He's talking about you know, I'm not going to get rolled over by these players that want these contracts. Then on the flip side, like I talked about last season, he's having these conversations with these players and just assuming that him doing these handshakes in his office with these players without their representation is valid. So where we are now is two guys being stubborn. And so Michael Parsons doesn't have a deal yet. And as of 4 p.m. yesterday, he is ineligible to play in week 1 because you got to have contracts signed by 4 p.m. because the 53-man roster has to be out. So he'll at least miss week 1 for sure, like Chris Jones did a couple years ago. And I was talking to my boys about this on Sunday when we did our draft. This could be Jerry Jones just being the entertainer, the salesman that he is. Because think about it. Who won the Super Bowl last year? The Cowboys' bitter rival, the Philadelphia Eagles, right? You go through all the news cycles. You don't hear much about the Eagles at all. You don't hear much about them repeating how good they were last year. Jalen Hurts being the Super Bowl MVP. Will they come back? You hear very little news about the Eagles. All you hear about is Michael Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys in all news cycles. Jerry Jones being the mastermind, the salesman that he is, has got all the attention on the Dallas Cowboys during training camp, during the offseason, during preseason games. It's all about the Cowboys, which is probably what he wants, right? That's how you become a $10 billion franchise, is you keep the eyes on you. So it could be a little bit of that. Michael Parsons says he feels disrespected. He wants to get traded. I honestly don't think they'll trade him. But I would not be surprised if he misses games because we're almost at the point of no return where he doesn't have a contract and he hasn't practiced. He hasn't done training camp. He hasn't done any of this stuff. So he's at least going to miss week 1 against Philadelphia, ironically. So that's where we're at with the contracts. So I'll give y'all my take on all this stuff real quick about contracts, the NFL, preseason, all that. Honestly, and I don't hear this get talked about at all, so that's why you come here to get this. I just think these guys don't want to practice. Simple as that. You look at a guy like Cam Hayward, 37 years old. He talking about, I don't want to play for this amount of money. And then he opted into his contract and now he's going to play. All of a sudden, now that preseason, training camp, all that's over. All these other players are doing the same thing. Trey Hendrickson, 30 years old. Michael Parsons got injury history. So, and this happens every year. There's somebody that holds in and waits to get their contract. And then miraculously, there's a contract for them as soon as the preseason's over. So, excuse me. The way I feel is these players just don't want to practice. They don't want to go through 2 days. They don't want to play in these preseason games. They don't want to put wear and tear on their bodies early. They can sign their contract before the 53-man roster is out to the public. And then they have 2 weeks to ramp up. They're veterans, right? So they know what they need to do to ramp up. It's not like they just sitting on the sideline and not getting in the gym and working out. They're just not physically hitting each other. So that's what I think a lot of this is. They don't want to practice. They don't want to get into the rigors of a preseason game, and they can just sit out and quote unquote opt in or hold in, go to practice, but don't practice. And then they're ready to go. So y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Are these players just opting in and not wanting to practice, and then they get their contract done just in time so they're eligible to play week 1? Or do you think it's a legit gripe and they really want their money? Y'all let me know. Comment below and let me know what y'all think. All right. Now, again, the X-Factor Sportz Podcast can be seen on YouTube every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. You can count down all the episodes. If you missed them in the past, you can go to YouTube, subscribe, get to the playlist. It shows you all 96 episodes of the X-Factor Sportz Podcast, so you can catch up. All right. Also, anywhere you can listen to podcasts. So that's Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, anywhere you can catch the X-Factor Sportz Podcast. So let's get into Major League Baseball. Okay. So we're going to talk about how wrong I was in predicting these division champions in the preseason. So I'm gonna put up on the screen. I did this back in season 8. So put up my screen of who I had winning the divisions back in March and kind of talk about where they are today. So where I'm at now, I got 3 out of 6 right as we speak. The Yankees and the Mets are 6 games, 5.5 games behind first place. So not really good at predicting it, I guess. Only got half of the league right. But we can dive into it though, because next week we're going to talk about the power rankings. It'll be after Labor Day. So like I told y'all, every holiday we get to the power rankings. We did it for Memorial Day. We did it for the 4th of July. We're going to do it again for Labor Day before we get to the playoffs. And so this is the predictions that I had at the beginning of the season or in the preseason. I had the Yankees winning the East, the Astros, and the Twins for some reason. I have to go back and watch the episode to see what reasons I had for picking the Twins to win the AL Central. And then in the National League, I had the Mets, Dodgers, and the Brewers. Now, the Dodgers are holding on and the Astros are hanging on right now to their division lead. So I got those right at the moment. Still another month of baseball to go. I think we about 30 games left, I would say, something around there. So we'll see if they can hang on and win the division. The Twins are at the bottom of the barrel with the White Sox pretty much. They're not as bad, but they don't have a chance to win the division. Detroit has been one of the best teams in baseball, dominant pitching. And so they've been number 1 in the power rankings the last 2 times we did it. So it's pretty safe to say the Tigers will probably win the AL Central. And the Blue Jays out of nowhere, the Blue Jays out of the blue are winning the American League East. The Yankees are in 3rd place, I believe. They're not even in 2nd, but they still only 6 games back. So it's a tight race. But the Blue Jays have been playing great baseball, so shout out to them as well. In the National League, like I said, the Mets are not in 1st place. The Phillies are. They're 5.5 games ahead of the Mets. The Dodgers hanging on by a thread. They're neck and neck with the San Diego Padres. And it seemed like the Dodgers are sleepwalking through the season. They got veteran leadership. They got championship pedigree. So it's almost like they can turn it on at any time. And they proved that over the weekend in the series with the Padres. The Padres are the team that's right behind them. And it's like they kind of sleepwalk through the season. And as soon as they get tested or as soon as they get challenged by a divisional opponent like the Dodgers or like the Padres, they just go crazy. So I think the Dodgers know good and well they can win that division for the 10th straight time, I think it'll be. And the Padres got a chance to make the playoffs, but I think when it comes to playoff time, when it comes to October, the Dodgers can kick it in another gear and the Padres won't be able to do anything with them. So Dodgers currently in 1st place in the West. And then this was my sleeper pick, and it made me look good. The Milwaukee Brewers winning the Central Division in the National League. I had friends from back home telling me I was crazy, said the Cubs will be better this year. And I remember saying this, I just can't justify the Cubs catching up to the Brewers because I think they lost the division by like 6 or 7 games last year. And I said, I don't think the Cubs will catch them. Now, credit to the Cubs. They started out the season great and they were in 1st place in the division for a while. And the Brewers weren't doing so good. And then after All-Star break, the Brewers became the best team in baseball. They're the first team to 80 wins. They've had 2 double-digit game winning streaks since the All-Star break. They've been the hottest team. The pitching has come together. They know how to hit for average. They're getting on base. Like they're playing like old school baseball. They don't got a bunch of sluggers on their team. They look like the 2015 Royals. Like they just know how to get on base and they know how to move guys from 1st, 2nd to 3rd. And they just play old school. The pitching is great. They know how to hold the lead. They get run support. So because of that, the Brewers have been the best team in baseball this second half of the year. They got the best record right now with about 30 games left. So shout out to the Brewers for proving me right at the moment and being the Central League the Central Division National League leaders. So y'all comment below. Like I said, I got 3 out of 6 right as it stands right now in the standings. Hopefully the Yankees or the Mets can prove me right, get hot at the right time, go on a little run, make me look a little better, but it's all good. That's why we make these predictions. It's real talk, unbiased takes here at the X-Factor Sportz Podcast. I can't get on here and announce to y'all when I'm right and not get on here and tell y'all when I'm wrong. So we deal with it in real time. All right. This is episode 97 of the X-Factor Sportz Podcast and season 9. So we're 9 seasons in. This is the premiere. I appreciate y'all for tuning in tonight. Again, you can always subscribe on YouTube and catch up to all the episodes and meet us right here at episode 97. All right. So now we're going to switch gears. We talked baseball. We had some football and quick news. We talked some NFL. But this weekend, we got college football is back, okay? We had the games in Dublin. Iowa State beat K-State out there. Even some fathers and sons got into some fights in the middle of the street. So we know college is back now. But this weekend, I love this weekend of college football because they always give us at least 2 games of top-tier teams that play in that first week. So I love that college football has started doing this. And that's what I'm going to talk about here. I'm going to talk about the 2 games that y'all need to watch. And I'm going to predict who I think is going to win these games and why. So with that, we're going to talk about the first game. The number 1 team in the country, Texas Longhorns, goes to Columbus to play the defending national champion Ohio State Buckeyes, who are ranked number 3 in the country, and they're favored to win. So I think if history serves me right, y'all can look this up for me. I feel like Texas, the number 1 team in the country coming into the season, this has to be the first time the number 1 team in the country was the underdog in the first game, right? They 3.5-point dogs because they're going against the defending national champs in Columbus. Why didn't they just make Ohio State the number 1 team? Like, I don't understand it. And obviously because they lost a lot of guys went to the league. Their starting quarterback went to the league. And you got the Texas Longhorns, who actually lost to Ohio State in the national semifinal last year, bringing everybody back. Bringing Arch Manning, he'll finally start. So we'll see what Arch Manning will do coming into this game. And honestly, I think this game is going to be big. Obviously, it's going to be an indication of what's to come when it comes to college football playoffs. But I feel like Texas is going to win this game. I know it's crazy. They're going into the horseshoe. Columbus, it's always hard to play there. But the reason I'm picking Texas is the quarterbacks. Texas has a somewhat experienced quarterback in Arch Manning. He played some games last year. They got some revenge that they want to get, I'm sure. I mean, it doesn't mean that much as a college football playoff semifinal did back in January. But I think this is a kickstart for their season. Arch Manning gets to come out and ball. I think he has the experience. He's played in big games. Versus the quarterback for Ohio State, Julian Sayin. He hasn't played in any big games, doesn't have the experience. It might be too much for him going against the number 1 team in the country at the horseshoe. You the defending national champs in your first game. Crowd's going to be crazy. Nationally televised night game. The lights may be too bright for him. And because of that, I've got Texas coming into Ohio State and stealing the game and getting a win. So that's what I'm going to go with. I just feel like the defense that Ohio State or that Texas has coming back with the experience on the offensive side, with a little bit of get back on their minds, I'm going to take Texas to upset Ohio State, which is crazy that it's an upset because they're the number 1 team, but I got them winning. So y'all tell me tell me who y'all picks will be between Ohio State and Texas. I'm going with Texas to win. And the second game is Clemson, who's the number 4 team in the country, at home against LSU. They're number 9. So it's the battle of Death Valley, the battle of the Tigers, right? And this one's pretty easy for me. I got Clemson winning. I think Clemson is going to be a national championship contender. I think they'll be one of the top 4 teams at the end of the season. I see them dominating the ACC. This game, I think they make a statement. I think Dabo Swinney makes a statement in this game that they're here to win. I know LSU is good. Their quarterback is really good, Garrett Nussmeier. I think he threw for over 4,000 yards last year, high-powered offense, so he'll have the ball in his hand a lot. But Clemson's defense at home, I think they're going to be really good as well. So give me Dabo Swinney, the guys that can't leave. He doesn't believe in the transfer portal. But I got those guys beating Brian Kelly and LSU. Clemson's 3.5-point favorites. I give it to them. And I think actually LSU will have the lead in the fourth quarter and Clemson will score a late touchdown and come back and win the game. So that's what I'm going with there. Give me Clemson over LSU. Give me Texas with an upset on the road against Ohio State. Those will be the 2 biggest games of the weekend. Be sure to lock in and watch those. Comment below. Let me know what you think. Who will win those 2 games this weekend? All right. Now, again, the X-Factor Sports Podcast. We're on YouTube every Wednesday night. You can catch all 97 episodes here. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And then also anywhere you're listening to podcasts, on YouTube Music also. So we are now on YouTube Music. We are on Samsung Podcasts. We are on Spotify, iHeartRadio, even Pandora. So you can catch us on all platforms that you can hear music, on all platforms you can listen to podcasts. The X-Factor Sports Podcast will be there. All right. So now, the moment y'all been waiting for, the reason y'all been here to build up, the NFL season is here. So you know we got to give you preseason predictions. We got to talk about the top 5 NFL Super Bowl contenders coming into this season. Okay. So at number 1, excuse me, and this is Vegas. Vegas has this team as the favorite to win the Super Bowl. I just have them as one of the top 5 contenders, but Vegas has them as the number 1 team. The Baltimore Ravens, they have them, I think, at like plus 500 to win the Super Bowl this year, which is the favored team to win. I like it. I think the Baltimore Ravens are a Super Bowl contender for a couple reasons. One, you can never count out Lamar Jackson. You know they're going to have a great regular season, right? So the formula for success in football, Tom Brady did it with the Patriots for years. They were in a weaker division. So the formula is if you win your division, you obviously make it to the playoffs and you get a home game. I feel like Baltimore is always in position to win the AFC North. The Browns ain't a threat. The Bengals, if their defense is anything like it was last year, they won't be that much of a threat. And I don't honestly think the Pittsburgh Steelers will make the playoffs this year or be over 500. So the AFC North is for the Ravens to take. So they'll win the division and they will get a 1 or 2 seed. So they'll get a home playoff game. And then if they are 1 seed, they only got 2 games to get to a Super Bowl. So I know last year there was a disappointing loss. Mark Andrews dropping the ball in the end zone against the Bills in the divisional round. But you have Derrick Henry back, his 2nd year in the offense, the 2nd year with this new offensive coordinator. The defense got better and better as the year ended. Roquan Smith will be back to lead the defense. I feel like they had an opportunity to slip away last year. So I got the Ravens as one of the top teams in the NFL coming into the season, and I think they're Super Bowl contenders. Lamar Jackson can be an MVP at any time, any point of the season. He can run for 1,000 and throw for 4. So you always got to look out for the offense and always got to look out for Lamar Jackson. The second team, the Philadelphia Eagles. right? Super Bowl defending champs. You can't count out the Super Bowl champs, especially when they didn't lose much. They got another offensive coordinator, but the core of their team is still there. You know, they came into camp with the right mindset. We're not the defending champs. We're the Super Bowl champs from 2024. We're trying to win a Super Bowl in 2025. So I like the idea of what they're trying to represent. I think Jalen Hurts is putting himself in another level. The focus he has, and just kind of a silent killer, to be honest. Like he wants to win. He's always motivated to win. He does the right things on and off the field. He leads by example. People may not like his playing style, but it's conducive to winning. He's the second winningest quarterback in football since he's been drafted. I don't see any reason why that doesn't continue. So I got the Philadelphia Eagles as a contender as well. The offensive line will always be good. They got Saquon Barkley, again, another guy, second year in the offense. He'll be a lot more comfortable in this offense. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith on the outside. So give me the Eagles as a contender as well. At number 3, the Buffalo Bills. Again, the team that beat the Baltimore Ravens last year. And again, they are going to be working with the same formula in their AFC East division. I think they are a runaway to win the division. Even last year, they weren't predicted to win the division. This is why Josh Allen won the MVP, because the narrative was the Bills won't be that good. They lost Stephon Diggs. They lost Gabe Davis, right? He didn't have any of his weapons, and he elevated those guys to an AFC championship game. So now they have a year of experience and confidence. Everybody done got paid. James Cook got his money. They feel like they let another opportunity slip away against the Chiefs. So as long as they got Josh Allen, I think you have to pencil them in as Super Bowl contenders. I got them winning their division. They'll be battling for a 1 or 2 seed in the AFC with the Ravens. And so give me the Bills again as another favorite. At number 4, the team that you cannot count out since Patrick Mahomes has been there, the Kansas City Chiefs. They will be Super Bowl contenders, but for different reasons. Yes, they have Mahomes, they got Kelsey, they got Chris Jones. I honestly think that they are going to be Super Bowl contenders because they're fighting for something else. The Chiefs are fighting to keep a dynasty alive because they lost the Super Bowl last year, but they're also fighting to go to a Super Bowl because this is Travis Kelce's last season. I'm going to say it right here on the season premiere of the X-Factor Sportz Podcast, season 9 premiere. This is Travis Kelce's last year. Congratulations to him. Yesterday, he announced his engagement to Taylor Swift on Instagram, which I've been telling Miss D all summer after they lost the Super Bowl that this is going to be his last year anyway. He's got a lot of good things going on outside of football. He's played enough years. He's a solidified Hall of Famer, first ballot. He's got 3 Super Bowl rings. He's got all the All-Pros, all the records a tight end can get. What else would motivate him to play other than to A, try to get back to another Super Bowl, and B, see if he can break some more records? But with him getting engaged to Taylor Swift, I think that just solidifies it, right? He's going to ride off into the sunset, get married, do his thing. He had an incredible career, but I think that's going to motivate the Chiefs. He came into training camp looking like he was in mid-season form physically. I'm talking about Travis Kelce. He usually looks like he's a little overweight. He's got the big push broom mustache, and then he grows in the beard. He already bearded up. He was bearded up before the first preseason game. Looked slimmer, looked like he was in shape. Mahomes looked thinner, got a different haircut. I think these guys are motivated in a different way, almost in a you can't count us out type of motivation to be Super Bowl contenders. Again, they're in a tough division this year. I think that the Broncos will be better this year. I think with the Chargers, with Harbaugh's second year coaching, I think they are going to be better this year. I think the Raiders will actually be a little bit better. The coaching is so elite in the AFC West that I think the Chiefs will still have to fend these guys off, but just the experience and what they're going to be playing for, I think is bigger than football. So for that reason, I got the Chiefs as a contender as well. And then my last Super Bowl contender is in the NFC, and it is the Detroit Lions. I know they lost all their coordinators. They still got the head coach there. They still got Dan Campbell. They still got Jared Goff playing at an elite level. They still have all the offensive weapons. They get Aiden Hutchinson back. So there's a lot of, in the NFC, really, I don't think they're going to have a lot of hurdles to get over in the NFC. The Eagles will be good. If Matthew Stafford is healthy, the Rams will be good. The 49ers will actually bounce back because they're going to have a weak schedule because of last year's plummet. But now you get Christian McCaffrey back. You get some guys healthy. So they may just off record-wise look good in the regular season. Tampa Bay will look good in the South. But honestly, the Eagles and the Lions are the class of the NFC. And so if I got to pick another NFC team, I think that the Detroit Lions are Super Bowl contenders coming in this year. Can they get it done? We'll see. They've been considered on the doorstep and been considered Super Bowl contenders for the last couple years. So we'll see how far they can go, but I think they will contend for a championship. So there you have it. We got the Ravens, the Eagles, the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Lions are our 5 Super Bowl contenders coming into the season. All right. Y'all comment below. Let me know what you think. If there are any sleeper teams we need to worry about, or are these the 5 teams in football this year that will be contending for championships? Now, I know a lot of y'all have home teams that y'all root for, but let's not get it twisted, okay? The reality is, in the NFL, there's legitimately about 5 or 6 teams that can win a Super Bowl. So don't give me your dark horse, a team that ain't made the playoffs in 3 years, or a team that won 6 games last year. Like, they're not contending for a Super Bowl. They're contending to make the playoffs, right? But it's levels to this. And when we talk about the top tier teams in football, these are the top tier teams that will be competing for a championship this season, barring injury, of course. So y'all let me know below, comment who you think are the top 5 Super Bowl contending teams, or who you think will win the Super Bowl. You can just come straight out and let me know what you think. Who's going to win Super Bowl 60? Obviously, as the season progresses, I will give y'all my prediction of who I think is going to do that. All right? Cool. Now, before we get up out of here, you know we always got to hit y'all with the 2-minute warning. So the first 2-minute warning of the season, we're going to talk about happiness. And we're going to talk about not expecting happiness from anybody else, okay? It doesn't come from anywhere else. You can't expect to get happiness from your job or from social media, people liking and sharing your stuff. That's not real happiness. That doesn't fulfill you in a real way. The only way you can get happiness is from inside, okay? You can't go out looking for people to make you happy. Because if you don't have true happiness within, then how are you able to share that with anybody else? How are you able to give or receive it, right? So happiness itself as a whole is something that you have to find inside of you. Things that make you happy, if it's by giving to people, if it's by doing good things, if it's by improving yourself, you know, whether it's education, whether it's improving your health, whether it's improving your, you know, the way you look, the way you dress, like any of those things internally, like building up your own self-esteem. Those are the things that'll make you happy. So those things have to come internally before you can go out looking for it from somewhere else, because it's always going to lead to disappointment. If you're going out looking and expecting somebody else to give you your own happiness, you're going to always end up empty. So the only way to fulfill that is to give yourself and find what makes you happy on the inside. All right. So be sure to remember that happiness comes from within, and take that message and run with that. All right. Appreciate y'all for tuning in to the X-Factor Sportz Podcast, episode 97, the season 9 premiere. You can always catch us on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe and watch on YouTube every week. Let's get those watch hours up. We are a little bit over 5,000 subscribers. Let's go ahead and get it to 10 by the end of the season. Get these likes, shares, and subscribes up. You can also catch all the reels and all the extra clips on social media, and you can follow along too. All right. The 100th episode. Remember, Bogey's Pub, September 17th. All right. We are there at 6:30 on September 17th. It'll be the 100th episode. It's a celebration of the X-Factor Sportz Podcast. Doing 100 of these podcasts. I still love doing it. Still love preparing for it. Giving y'all real talk, unbiased takes. So be sure to get there at 6:30. Get you a seat. Get some good food. Hang out. We will be doing a lot of pictures, hanging out, mingling with people. There's going to be some raffles. So make sure you get in the raffle. I'll have free swag, some X-Factor Sports gear, shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, hats that you can win if you answer some trivia questions. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be a great celebration. That's September 17th, Bogey's Pub in Leawood, Kansas, the 100th episode. Again, if you like the swag, you can always click the QR code. And for my listeners, you can just go to the X-Factor Sports store, xfactorsportsstore.com, or you can hit me up on social media directly. Let me know your size and color, and we can get that out to you. All right. Again, I want to thank y'all for tuning in to the X-Factor Sportz Podcast, Season 9 premiere, Episode 97. Next week on Episode 98, we will be deep into football. We're bringing back your favorite segment that y'all love, and we're going to play some bets. Make sure y'all tune in next week, and we will predict who's going to win some games during the football season. This is Jay Mondane of the X-Factor Sportz Podcast signing out. Peace.